the old Aswan Dam. You can see the town of Aswan behind me.
Last time on Races to Places, Lyndon and Basil found a lovely camp spot by the Nile.
So it's almost sunset here in Wadi Halfa, and I just met some new friends. They've invited me to come for breakfast. They call it breakfast, we would call it dinner.
You are welcome.
It's breakfast because of Ramadan, and it's the first meal of the day. Just when you thought it was all over, there's a dessert as well. That's a proper fruit salad. This is a Sudanese coffee shop.
Yes.
We're gonna go check it out.
We try to.
Wow, nice place. Well, the sun's just come up, and today is another day, another border crossing. Hoping to get into Egypt today. It's not going to be an easy border crossing. Many overlanders say it's the most difficult border crossing, getting into Egypt with the bike. There's a few more steps. We need to get a temporary license plate for Basil Bike for Egypt, and also need to sign in with the police and all this stuff. One of the most important things is that drones and action cameras are banned from Egypt, and they will try and take them off you at the border. So for me, it's important to hide them on the bike somewhere. So that's my challenge this morning, hiding my drone and my camera.
No unmanned aircraft is allowed to fly or work in the territory of the state unless upon permission of the Civil Aviation Authority. Those are the rules highlighted by the Egyptian government.
So the other idea I have is to put them underneath the liner in one of my panniers. They have like, obviously they're red inside, and then they have this hard piece or like shaped piece which goes in, and I was just going to move it up a little bit and put the stuff underneath it. So let's try that. I think this is probably the answer. You can see there, put the liner in there, but underneath the liner, underneath this, is my drone and my GoPros. I hope they don't find them. So that's it, travelling through Sudan in May, which is the summer here in the desert region, has its difficulties. Travelling through Sudan in a revolution has its difficulties, and the financial and political times that we've got here. But other than that, fantastic experience, and in the next few days we'll be crossing into Egypt.
Now the boys will take a short ferry ride from Wadi Halfa across Lake Nabaya and start the journey through Egypt.
Here we are, arriving in Egypt. Woo! So I got to the border of Egypt and Sudan early this morning, but wasn't open, so I've been waiting nearly 2 hours now. Still not open. And there's a bit of a scam going on here where you have to pay this guy called Mazar in order to get through the process, otherwise they just stop you going. So I decided just to suck it up, and it looks like we're going in. So we're apparently waiting for the Egyptian side to open before this opens.
Okay.
And then the corrupt fixer is gonna get me through. I don't know how much I'll have to pay, but
Change the money?
get some money first. I'm just gonna change some money. So I've got some, so I can pay the people that I need to pay. Forms. Just attaching my Egyptian license plate to the bike. It's the first time Basil's had a different license plate since we left the UK. I'm actually surfing in one of the tricycles. Look. Just been to the cafeteria and got myself some breakfast. Just while I'm waiting for the lengthy process to take place.
Looks like Basil is mixing it in with the locals here. As I mentioned, we're crossing Lake Nabaya, which the Sudanese locals prefer to call the smaller portion of the main lake, Nasser.
Ride across the dam just to show you the sheer size of it.
Construction first began on the Aswan Low Dam in 1989 by British workers and was opened in 1902. Then in 1852, the Greek-Egyptian engineer Adrian Danios began to develop the plan for the new Aswan Dam. This was finally completed in 1970.
So it says no photography, so I've got to be a little bit careful. So I'm just using the helmet camera to show you the size of the dam here. See the reservoir.
Well, here we are this morning, just on the northwest shore of Lake Nasser, at a small town called Abu Simbel in the south of Egypt. That's right, I crossed the border yesterday into Egypt from Sudan, and I have to say, what a big, time-consuming, complex, lots of paperwork border crossing that it was, and it was expensive too. Lots and lots of stuff to do in all the 70 countries that I've travelled around the world on my bike. I have to say this was the most complex border crossing. It took me 6.5 hours to get out of Sudan and get into Egypt, and it was just a complex process, something that I hope not to experience again. But here we are in Abu Simbel. First thing I'm going to do today is go and see the temple here in Abu Simbel, and then after that we're going to head north towards Aswan to the north side of the lake, and then north into Egypt from there.
Woo! This is the old Aswan Dam. You can see the town of Aswan behind me, and the dam over there.
Okay, so one of the bits you don't often get to see is, oh, hang on, see freaking lens cap rattling around. So one of the things you don't normally get to see is this, all the hiking, carrying stuff, sweating, 40 degrees plus heat, 40 degrees Celsius, to see these tourist attractions. Often you can't take, not really tourist attractions, but historical sites. But often you can't take vehicles to the historical sites, you have to hike. And tell you what, it's incredibly hot. Ooh.
Here we are at the Abu Simbel temples, located in the village of Nabaya near the border with Sudan. The twin temples were carved out of the mountainside in the 13th century BC. Then in 1968, the entire complex was relocated to high above the Aswan Dam.
So this is one of the cut lines you can see, where they cut the stone and pieced it back together. So what you see behind me is the Abu Simbel temple. And what the most spectacular thing about this from an engineering point of view is that it was once much further down. And they actually cut it out of the rock and moved it up here when the dam was constructed for Lake Nasser and the water level started to rise. They moved the whole thing and recreated the temple here that you see behind me. And while we rode across the new dam, this is the old dam in Aswan. You can see it's constructed from stone. It's really pretty. I think I just found the old truck and tuk-tuk graveyard. It's where you come for your spare parts. The scrapyard. Well, I decided to finally fit the rear tyre, save carrying it anymore really. I just can't be bothered carrying it around anymore. So I'm going to get it put on, get this old slick tyre off, so carrying less weight. I'm also going to put a new chain and front sprocket on, get that out of the way. So I've been carrying a chain around for the last 5,000–6,000 kilometres. So get it all done while we're in the shade here today, trying to escape from the heat this afternoon.
Lyndon's going to be working up a sweat here in this heat.
Turn me up, and you say it's all for the best. I will show you the way. It's not how it's done, at least not for me. 'Cause I need my freedom like I need my air to breathe and die. I need a renegotiation.
Time to treat Basil to some new rubber. Give him some new Cush drive rubbers. Look, this one's, let me show you, falling apart and it's all squashed. So we're going to put nice new ones in for the rest of the trip.
I'm sure Basil is happy to have his new rear tyre fitted, as the old ones were looking rather slick.
Removing the front sprocket when all you've got is your wheel wrench. And thankfully I've put the same size nut on the front sprocket as the rear wheel, so I can use this wrench. It's a little bit tricky because you have to do a little bit at the top, a little bit at the bottom, but it saves you carrying a big socket or trying to find it when you're out on the road. It's nice to be able to do it with the tools that you've got. It's just a bit of a compromise.
Next time on Races to Places, we'll be arriving at the Red Sea.
Hi everyone, thanks so much for watching Races to Places. Please check out the link to my Patreon page below where you can find special features and pre-released episodes of Races to Places. I look forward to your messages and comments on there.